On a mythical night such as this, there was a cursed princess who had much sorrow. And with this sorrow, she also had great happiness. And on this day of the cursed fate, a tree bloomed with great brilliance with blue petals and cured her curse. What is this Disney bullshit? Jokes aside, this was a very good episode. Like, just straight up, beautiful episode. Like, the Brilliant in Amagi Brilliant Park definitely suits to this episode. Like, this episode, damn. KyoAni, they nailed it. They freaking nailed this episode. Like, the emotions, the animation, the ending segment, the music. Even though I knew pretty much everything would possibly work out, you know, kind of have a Disney turn of events, pretty much it was a very good conclusion, and I loved it. It was a very heart-touching episode, and technically this is not the final episode of the series. Next week, I'm guessing, is the final episode, but either way, I guess you could kind of consider this the final episode of the series, and for the most part, the series has been very fun. Like, this episode alone just shows me why I love this series and why I've stuck through watching this series, and for the most part, it really keeps a nice, good atmosphere about it. Like, this episode, what really makes it enjoyable, I think, is because of the way the animation budget was used in certain scenes. Specifically with the Latifah scene when she was starting to cry and, you know, Seiya's arms. That scene right there alone was very sad, and it was one of the best scenes of this episode. Like, straight up, that was the best scene of this episode. It was sad. You see, you know, Muffle just, you know, all upset, and you saw how his eyes were kind of about to cry and tear up, and then you see Sento, how she was getting very sad. The overall moment in that, the way the atmosphere was built up, I felt like KyoAni did a damn good job. Even though, like I said, I knew probably something would work out, the way it was done was just pretty damn nice. Now, I like this episode for a lot of different reasons. Besides just the ending conclusion, what makes this episode so good is, like, the overall hard work and the development that Seiya gets as a character. Like, him admitting in front of everybody in the park, all his co-workers, admitting that he could not have accomplished this many visitors if it wasn't for everybody, is actually character development. It actually shows character development because this dude is a narcissistic bastard. Since the first episode, he's narcissistic, he's about himself, he thinks he is, like, perfect, pretty much. He's like, everything he wears is a 10 out of 10, pretty much. And to see how he says he could not have done it without everybody else, that shows you development. And honestly, I'm quite shocked to see how Seiya got development like that. I'm absolutely shocked. That says enough. That is exactly the lines I wanted to hear in this series. And to hear him say something like that just shows you the progression he has had since the start of the series. I mean, it's not the most groundbreaking progression I've ever seen when it comes to a series, but when it comes to something like this, especially with a slice of life, you know, type of, you know, comedy element genre, with a little bit of drama on top of it, it's pretty shocking. Really shocking to see that type of development. So, overall, though, seeing all the characters pitch in to call in the last-minute people, for instance, family members, friends, close friends, and stuff, to come in to save the day, I felt like that was a really good scene in this episode. It just goes to show you how much effort everybody's putting in to save the park. So, overall, a very good episode of Amagi Brilliant Park. I'm looking forward to seeing next week's episode. I think it's the final episode, so if it is, it's going to be sad to see this series finally go, because I've really enjoyed watching this. It's been very fun. So, tell me your thoughts in the comments below how you felt about this week's episode of Amagi Brilliant Park. Please be safe. Chibi out.